There was a question, previous year's question paper that was asked. Is it visible? I believe yes. There was a question that I'm giving the excerpt. The third battle of Panipat. Third battle of Panipat was fought in 1761. Why so many empire shattering battles? Empire shattering battles happened in Panipat. Let us analyze this question. Please understand, this question is more associated with geography and trends of medieval plus early modern warfare. It has little relevance to other history. Nakshatra is writing availability of required resources, raw materials, terrain of the region. All right, you're trying to attempt this answer. Very good. These are valid points. Excellent. See, when you will be writing an answer, you will brainstorm the necessary points. What is the idea of writing an ideal answer? In the examination hall, we are looking at the average marks, especially in the GS papers, are declining every year. There is a general trend of the evaluators not offering marks. That can be one. The other, what we have noticed is that the students tend to answer their own question and often get diverted and not answer what is required. For that, I would recommend that you limit yourself to what exactly precisely has been asked. So mechanically limit yourself. For example, this question, we'll learn how to write an ideal answer. What is the thesis statement, key statement? What is the appendage, extension of a question, how to react? There are different appendages, extensions. For example, comment, elucidate, elaborate, critically examine. So these discuss, explain, these are extensions. On the basis of it, you have to react to the thesis statement. What is the thesis statement here in this question? The third battle of Panipat was fought in 1761. And then it is asking, this is the thesis statement, you have to react with these. Why so many battles or empire shattering battles happened in Panipat? That means it is precisely targeting causality. That means try to, whenever you will be given an event, history is dominated by event. And an event has basically two components, space and time. This is known as the spatio-temporal analysis. In simpler terms, spatio-temporal analysis helps you to write an introduction in a very simple and effective way. You do not have to overthink. See, for the third battle of Panipat, is happening in 1761. Please understand, UPSC does not have the liberty to ask about first and second battle of Panipat. It simply does not. Why? Because these events are not a part of your syllabus for your mains. UPSC can ask questions from mid 18th century and beyond, justifying the question. If you file an RTI, this will be the justification behind the setting of the question. They have the liberty to ask. Now, the component there is that empire shattering battles. Majority of you are attempting to answer. My older students are definitely there. They should. But before doing so, you have to understand what precisely about how to dismember the question. If you know the rationality behind dismemberment, it will be easier to predict or write answers when you will not be knowing the answer. Understand the rationality. Why am I spending so much of time in analyzing the statement, limiting my ambit? It will not be the case that you will be knowing all the components of the answer in a given 250 mark paper. By the right analysis, you will be able to produce valid points that will fetch you above average marks, and you will be closer to selection. It is not about content per se. It is about the art of extempore with minimum availability of information. Effective production. Your productivity should be improving. You should be able to write a lucid article where you will be lagging or lacking in availability of information. That is the art, what is expected from a prospective civil servant. Do you honestly think that, suppose we have learnt about this chapter, do you think right now maybe you have availability of information? In the examination hall, you have to learn so many information, and probably you will be forgetting much more. What will you do then? That is the training here. The component empire shattering battles, we will enlist 3. We are deciphering this component. That will be the first battle of Panipat, happening in 1526. Why is it empire shattering? It is leading to the end of Lodhis in general, Lodhis in particular, and Delhi Sultanate in general, and empire shattering because it led to the establishment of Mughal Empire. Next component, the second battle of Panipat, 1556. Why it is empire shattering? That is end of Sur dynasty and re-establishment of Mughals. Last, third battle of Panipat, 1761, that led to end of the dreams of Marathas to create a unified empire. Also, it shattered the hopes of, or it led to the further weakening of the Mughals. Further weakening of Mughals. And what did it lead to? Gave ample opportunities for one rise of a Sikh empire in the northwest. Rise of Sikh empire, then the rise of British. I am simply taking clauses from the thesis statement for this component, and I have explained that. Why it is empire shattering. Then for given thesis statement, there are generally steps to think about. You can accept the validity of the thesis statement. You can accept or you can reject or deny the validity of the thesis statement. That means for every statement provided, there is the path of acceptance and the path of denial. And there is a path beyond acceptance and denial. For an extreme statement, suppose, let us make an impact on your mind. Smoking is injurious to health. It is acceptable in rare cases, maybe it is acceptable in rare cases, maybe not acceptable. The exact situation might tell to what extent this statement is valid. Also, for every statement, there is a path beyond acceptance and rejection. For anything, there can be something more as compared to accepting it or rejecting it. This will help you think about how to argue. There will be certain points which will help you accept this statement. There will be certain points that will help you counter argue. I am telling you components as to what are the ideas you will be arguing and counter arguing. See, next you will be doing, at the end you will understand what exactly I have done. Then for this statement, you will argue accepting, you will accept this statement and you will try to reject or go towards a path, if any, beyond acceptance and rejection. Now understand what exactly I am talking about. I am accepting the statement, I will try to reject the statement, and I will think about if I have something beyond acceptance and rejection. Let us come back to the thesis statement. It is saying that Third Battle of Panipat, 1461, I will say that it is empire shattering. I have helped you argue the same. That here it was empire shattering.